You can retire on Social Security, Chapter 6, how Julie's Social Security benefit is calculated. While the Social Security Administration is gracious enough to show Julie her benefit on page 1 and page 2 of her annual statement, see the previous chapter, it doesn't tell us how they actually got there. So let me show you. First, we need to know the year Julie was born, 1958. Next, we go to this page on socialsecurity.gov to get the indexing factors. So just on a side note, I cannot stress this enough. I know some people say when I move back and forth, the volume's hard. I don't notice the volume being off of my phone when I'm listening to this. So I don't know why that's the case. Maybe one of these days I'll get another mic. And then when I slam the table, sorry. I'm just animated, man, animated. This is so interesting and so important. I'm too hyper to sit still and just be a robot. So I apologize if I think it's more just because I don't hear that well. So I have a loud voice as it is. Hearing's pretty bad. I'm pretty animated. I don't think I'll ever have a great acoustics for simple, not monotone, just I guess a monotone where it's just the same tone the whole time. So if I scare you going, bah! Sorry about that. That keeps you awake, though. You know that, right? Actually, there is studies that say you got to have variance in your movement, variance in your background, variance in your tone, and things like that to keep people looking around like they're in the jungle of Vietnam. All right. So first we talked about then just like I did in table 2, chapter 2, we got to create a spreadsheet. Take the indexing factors and the earnings history from page 3 of the Social Security statement, and it'll look like this in table 13. Side note, in your spreadsheet, you want to put in the numbers the Social Security Administration gives you exactly as shown. Do not change anything from what they provided to you. All right, so here's table 13. We got Julie's earnings record, all right? So as you can see, $3,331 in 1977. Actually, I switched the numbers around, I get it. So what did I do here? So it looks like we're using, what did I do? Red. Well, we got red. I don't know why. I guess it was because I don't know why I got some in red and some in blue. I guess the red ones are what we're using. The blue ones are what we're not. Yes. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so we're using red. Okay, last time I said we're using blue, not red. And here we're using red, not blue. So that's confusing. I probably won't change that. But anyway, Julie's earnings record. So here you can see what is in blue. So she has a couple years of zero, 1984, 1985, 1991, and 1992. Even in 2015, she has a couple years of zero. 2000, and again, these are the index numbers. So 1993, she made $929. We times that by her indexing amount. It's only 2,080. So you can see all the years in blue are the years we're not going to use. All right, it's the years in red that we're going to use. I'm not sure why I switched those up, but be it as it may, you'll get it. All right, so then we're saying 51,750 over the next until she hits her full retirement age at 66 and 6 months, I think, or 66 and 8 months. I can't remember. But anyway, 51,750 is what we're assuming she's going to make. So look, 51,750, 51,750, and we're going to talk about why those aren't being adjusted here in just a second. There's a lot going on in this table, so let me explain. The reason we have some numbers in red is because we need to identify the top 35 years of Julie's indexed earnings in order to calculate her average index monthly earnings. Now add up those top 35 years, and again, these are all the ones in red, and again, I apologize for change the color coordination, but whatever. 80,000, 68,000, so we're adding up the indexed earnings. So in 2001, she made 51,539, 394. We have an index factor of 1.57, so her adjusted amount is $80,055. We add up all those indexed, and we get a $1.853 million. So we add up all those 35 years, the top 35 years of her indexed earnings, and it gives us $1.853 million. We divide that amount by 420, and we get an AIME, an average index monthly earnings of 4413. The reason we're dividing by 420 is that this is the number of months in a 35-year work history. So they don't count anything in your 36. They don't count anything other than the top 35. So you paid taxes into it. Yes, you did, but they're not being counted towards your benefit. Now, we multiply, as we did before, the first 926 of Julie's AIME by 90% to get 833. Then multiplying her remaining AIME was 4416 is her total. I got a typo there. Look at that. 4416 minus 926. Let me pause this for a second. That figured that 4416 is actually 4413. So I just changed it. So again, thanks for being with me here still. I fixed my typos. 4416 minus 9, or 4413 minus 926 gives us 3487 is the second bend point of our average index monthly earnings, for which we times by 32% to get 1158. We add 1,158 plus 833, and we get Julie's PIA of 1949, which is almost exactly what the Social Security Administration said it would be if Julie continued to work until her full retirement age. Simple, right? And remember, I just got to point out here, the issue here is that I'm not using the month. So her FRA is actually 66 and 8 months. I'm not getting that specific because each month actually Social Security adjusts it. So I think we're off by $20, but it's literally, at the end of the day, it's all contingent anyway because it's based on her continuing to make this 51,750, that exact amount each and every year. So it's not going to be that anyway, but let's keep going. All right, so table 14, this is how we got her index. So we got her total indexed earnings, 1.853. Her AIME, because we divide that by 420, it gives us an AIME of 4,413. The first 926 is the first bend point. Times that by 0.9, gives us 833. The second bend point is 5583, because that's the max of the second bend point minus the 926, that gives us whatever it was, 3487, I think. Yeah, times that by 0.32, it gives us 1138. We add those two numbers up, and that's her PIA. Simple. It actually is. Once you do this a couple times, you'll get it. I'm telling you, we'll get it as easy once you figure it out. And hopefully this book will help you figure it out. But what if she stops working now? In this case, the 6 extra years Social Security assumes she'll work with an income of $51,750 from 2019 to 2024 will not happen. So again, we're going to assume Social Security is saying she's going to work these extra years, 2019 to 2024. That's 6 extra years, making $51,750. But those won't work. Those will be zeros instead. All right. So what happens now? Social Security then will replace those years with 6 years of significantly less income. 1 year was only $3,167, in fact. That's going to lead to a huge reduction in Social Security, right? Because we're replacing 6 years of $51,750 by a bunch of smaller years. One is right here, 3167 is the least of her 6 of the smallest years. So that will go in. These 4 will go in, and then this guy right here will go in. So replacing all these years of 51,750 with something incredibly smaller. And it's going to be a huge reduction in her Social Security benefit, right? Let's take a look. Well, let's see. In Table 15, at the end of the chapter, we have replaced the years of 2019 through 2024 from Table 13 with the years 1977, 1989, 1994 to 1997. Ultimately, by Julie no longer working after 2018, she replaced $310,500 of future earnings with $87.64 of her past earnings. How will this affect her benefit? Well, Table 16 shows us. So let's go down to Table 16. All right, so here's Table 15. So what we've done here is now you got red, because remember we had blue before, and we're going to have a blue here, a 0. We got blue there, blue there, blue there, blue there, blue there, and we replaced, that was blue before. It's kind of like, what's that, red to blue or blue to red when they, state goes from, like Michigan was blue and now it's red because it voted for the Trumpster. It's the same thing here. It went from blue to red. So this is Michigan and voted for the Trumpster, changed. And now we're going to use it as part of her earnings benefit. But notice we're stopping here at 2018. That's it. That's when her earnings stop. So what does it look like? Well, now her total indexed earnings is $1.634 million, whereas before it was $1.853 million. So again, we've lost, that's a pretty significant amount of earnings, relatively speaking to her overall Social Security benefit. So now her AIME is 3892, whereas before it was 4413. So it went from, it dropped basically $550 from her AIME, but watch, it's not going to be nearly the big deal you think. After we figure out her AIM, it was 3892 and her bend points, her PIA now with not working anymore is $1,782. What was it before? $1,949. So let's keep reading. What we find is that if Julie stops working now and no longer makes any income, her benefit at FRA will drop from $1,916 a month to $1,718 a month. That extra 6 years of work, making $51,750 a year, will only increase her benefit by about $134 a month, $1,608 a year. I leave that for you to decide if it's worth it or not. But remember, that's an extra 6 years of working in some kind of job. Maybe you're in a job you love or at least don't mind. But what if it's one you hate? Is it worth it to stay there miserable for an extra $134 a month at retirement? Think about it like this. You're working an extra 12,480 hours over the course of those 6 years to capture another $1,608 a year. In a 40-hour work week, you work 2,080 hours a year. So 2,080 times 6 years equals 12,480 hours, which doesn't include commute time, by the way. If you're miserable at work, I bet there's a better way to use those 12,480 hours to find an activity you enjoy that'll pay you well more than the extra $1,680 a year. Now, one thing I want to point out, the SSA does not index your earnings once you reach the age of 60, which is why we have these at $51,750 with just one, no indexed earnings, right? They don't index it once you reach the age of 60. It just does with a cost of living adjustment. All right, so let's keep going. The Social Security does not index your earnings once you reach the age of 60. Notice in Table 13 from 2018 and beyond, the index factor is 1. Once you reach 60, they simply increase your earnings with a cost of living adjustment. So while you might think you're making good money now relative to your earlier years of working, you need to consider the index factor. From a Social Security perspective, the $38,000 Julie made in 1999 is worth way more than the $51,000 she may make this year, as Table 13 and 15 show. So it's going on Table 15. 1999, she made $38,000, right? But when we index it for the index factor for her date of birth or earliest year of eligibility, which is 1958, was when she was born, 1.69 is the index factor, so that means that benefit is $65,000 is what Social Security uses to determine her PIA. $65,480 is worth more than $51,750 because these benefits going forward do not get indexed once you're at the age of 60. All right, so let's go. Let's go to the next chapter. Ooh, here's gonna be fun. Julie gets a huge raise. How will that affect her Social Security? So here she's telling her boss to kiss off. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned, smash, and watch the next one. Thanks now.